striving to the highest degree means it takes a tremendously great faith to discover the loving will of God behind all events and circumstances of life, to find His loving Father hand which wants to lead us to eternal happiness. And we know, as we've been talking about, that our life is all about doing the Father's will. And when we go back and study divine providence, and as I mentioned before, I said that God has given us many tools to help us to discern God's will. And one of these tools, our founder speaks about it as the voice of time. In other words, he tells us that God uses every event in my very personal life and in the life of the world, all the events that are happening, to speak to me. So in other words, that I don't just see those events happening, but I, so to speak, make the event transparent, see God behind it, and then say, God, what are you telling me? Bishop Sheen said a similar thing. He said that God wants to be in communication with us at all times because He wants us to be in line with His will at all times. And so He doesn't speak to us in words, He speaks to us through events. So increasing our striving to the highest degree means to develop this way of thinking that I look at every event, whether it's a flat tire or whether it's the 5th glass of milk that's spilled during supper time, whatever it might be, that I see God behind it. And I say, okay, God, what are you telling me? What is your will for me through this situation? That's what it means to discover the will of God behind all events. Very, very important, because it's one way God uses for us to help us to discern His will. So this then is the second demand of the covenant that the Blessed Mother places before us. Increase your striving to the highest degree. Reach for the gold. And all of those aspects underneath that point.
You know the way for me.